You two are feminists. Do you think on the NWA versus WNBA, do you think that they should be paid the same?
NWA.
I think that there should be a gross rate calculated per view, and then we should all just base it off that. Like a strict standard for every single viewer online. Like per viewer, you make this amount of money, and I think we should set that for men and women so that it's equal.
Or you could just look at the profit and just do it according to that, right? Yeah. Like how much money they're bringing in.
Exactly, yeah, and then base it off of that. And then
would you say that that's a feminist position?
I think feminism is bringing the idea of men and women equal. So I feel like that's setting an equal standard.
But do you think men and women are equal?
I personally do think that they're equal.
In what regard?
In almost every regard.
Do you think that women are as strong as men?
Yes, mentally and physically.
Whoa. Wait, before we answer that one, I do want to get everybody's input on that. Are men and women physically the same strength, generally speaking?
No. I mean,
Can you scoot your mic closer to you? Like,
no.
No.
Yes,
Scoot it, just scoot it. Okay, no?
No.
In terms of like muscle mass and what we're able to acquire?
Strength.
No.
Just strength.
How much you can lift?
General strength.
No.
Okay.
Typically, no.
Okay.
On the average, no.
Well,
on the average.
On the average.
Yeah.
Okay.
They could be, and then there's that like super mother strength,
That's
and then
not
there's
what.
like the
But
strength of your
but
vagina.
don't.
That's why
walk,
it's typically.
But don't walk back your statement. You said that men and women are equal in mental acuity and strength, physical and of the mind.
Yes.
But I'm a little confused because
on the average, though, your typical woman, she's a 5'5" frame versus a typical man is like what, 5'11", 5'8".
So
right? I don't know.
So generally speaking,
no. But I'm talking about like strength and like valor and like.
No, but you said
physically
strength.
Strong. That's what you said.
Maybe I'm comparing it to myself because I consider myself a pretty physically strong person. So in that aspect, yes.
No, but we're not.
But
in
even
general, then no. I recognize
okay.
Can I ask a question? Like, what if a guy who is like doing exactly the same you were doing, same body, same strength, same everything, and you did the same thing? Do you think that competing, like you would win?
What are you talking about?
I just kind of feel like guys, like genetically, are just born stronger than a girl being born.
Oh, I think
stronger.
she walked it back. I don't
know.
Okay, just I want to try to wrap up on a couple things here, because there's been a few conversational threads that haven't been finished. Really quick, we're going around.
Grid One Motorsports.
Yeah, thank you, Grid One. Appreciate it.
$100. Red is right. There is inequality, as women have more rights than men, are harder to fire than men, and have lower hiring requirements than men. Life on easy mode. Men and women are not equal. At all.
Okay. Grid One, really appreciate it, man. Thank you for that.
If he looks up any of the like major companies you're looking at, the percentage of women and men, the majority is men, and though we're working towards making it equal, that is just false. Because if it was easier to hire women, or women were more inclined to be hired, then that percentage wouldn't be the case.
Well, I mean, one thing that occurs to me: what is the primary motive of a business? What is the purpose of a business?
Profit.
To make money, right? Yeah. So if it was actually true that you could hire women and pay your workforce, let's say a company of 10,000 people, you could pay your workforce and save 20%, 30% on salary. Wouldn't the companies just hire women if it was actually true that you could just pay women less?
But for these large corporations that are governed and run by men,
Are they?
Yeah.
They're not governed. They're all governed by women. Look at the HR department.
The HR departments, hiring departments.
If you're talking about current day, we're also talking about equal pay.
Why?
Okay.
When you say equal, though, why do you think it needs to be equal?
In terms of like your professional life, it should be equal.
You think that there should be the exact same amount of men and women in the exact same amount of positions getting the exact same pay?
I don't think a company should be based like trying to get the numbers 50-50. I think it should be based on your resume, your experience.
And that's why women get paid less.
Because we have less
Because
experience?
women they generally are less qualified.
How's that?
Well, because women have to take time out for maternity leave, right?
A lot of women, that's after they get hired.
Yeah, I know, but okay. So they have to take time out for maternity leave, and there's like men are willing to
There's
work
also
a lot harder
paternity
as well.
leave.
Men are willing to work a lot longer hours. Like, If a man works a lot longer hours, then he's going to get paid more, especially in sales jobs, etc. Do you think that's a factor?
Oh, well, where are you saying that women won't work those hours?
Well, it's a fact. Men work longer hours than women. And also they have different interests as well. I mean, men will tend to go into STEM fields, and STEM fields pay more, whereas women tend to go to pink jobs. They tend to go to childcare. Like
You're
those sorts of
talking
things.
about the facts, not the coulds. That women could do those things. We could be there, but
But they won't because
I
they're less
typically find
they're
that
less
there's
inclined to
more
it.
women in my STEM field classes than men, personally.
Yeah, but it's
As-
classes. But you look into the workplace, and then they're absolutely dominated by men because men are more interested in things, and women are more interested in
Like
people.
what? That I don't think that's true because
It's
current
a
day,
fact.
the majority of my friends are into banking, investing, economics,
Look at
mathematics.
you look at the industry. These industries are dominated by men.
Can I look
And
it
these
up?
are also industries where you have to work really hard until you're 30, 35 to start making money. Women tend to take time out because they go and take maternity leave and they want to have children because they're smart and they realize what's more important in life. Whereas
So-
men will work their asses off 80 hours a week until they're 40 years old.
Maternity leave
get
is
to the top.
about 3 months.
Do you think that there's a lot of women who exit the workforce or who are at least very disadvantaged by it?
No.
Who do you think's more interested in STEM fields, men or women? Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
I think that there's a mix.
You think that it's equal?
Yeah.
You can pull it up
Yeah,
now.
I
Go
looked it
ahead.
up too.
2/3 of those employed STEM occupations were men, about 1/3, 35% were women. So, I mean, do you think it's like this thing of supposedly men making more money than women? Is that you think that's due to sexism?
Historically,
Burns donated $200.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Wage gap doesn't exist. Men typically work higher paying jobs, more hours, and typically ask for raises more often.
I mean, there's like various factors that go into this when you start. If you just compare all the money that men make and all the money that women make, it's not a wage gap, it's an earnings gap. But if you start narrowing it down to, okay, well, this career field, here's the hours worked. Like, for example, men work, if you look at all men versus all women, men work more hours than women do.
okay, let's talk about a job that isn't hourly.
Yeah, but like
Okay.
it doesn't matter if they're hourly because if you're working at a career and you're a man who's just say in a science job, right? And you're working 80 hours a week compared to a woman who's working 60 hours a week, then you're going to get ahead faster. And if you stay at that company for 10 years and you really get ahead, then you're going to be on a lot better money than a woman who's had to go and leave the job for a while, do maternity leave, come back, leave, come back, and is also interested in different things as well.
And historically, through a comparison of people that work the same hours that had the same position, there was a wage gap. There was historically. And that's like feminism has existed through years, but the argument is, am I a feminist? Yes, because it took feminism to get us to the point where we are now, to get
But
that equal
do you
pay.
realize how different the job availability was 100 years ago?
But that
Like,
doesn't
do
excuse
you realize
the
that-
fact that
but-
women and men got paid differently for doing the same job for the same hours.
But here's the thing, like equal pay, feminism can really only, when it comes to workforce participation, can really only exist when there are comfortable air-conditioned office jobs. You didn't hear feminists in the fucking 1800s saying, I want to go into the coal mines and get black lung. Because for the longest period of human history, most jobs were like extremely physically laborious.
But also that's still true today though. If you look around today,
Yes.
the highest echelons of earners are all men because, you know, like we said before, but then the lowest as well, all of the most difficult jobs, the ice road truckers, like you said, the coal miners. Whenever you go to foreign countries and you see people digging ditches on the side of the road, it's never women. And I don't see you guys fighting for those positions.
We have videos.
Sure, but-
Wait.